Welcome to this Zotero presentation. It's being recorded in a application called Brainshark, and just to remind you a few of the features that are available to you here, you can view this presentation as full screen. Look down at the bottom, you should see a full screen option. Also, you can stop and start and rewind the presentation anytime you want. And you'll see the table of contents listed in a panel on the side, so you should be able to skip back and forth between the slides. So you should be able to use this to study up on Zotero and work at your own pace. Zotero has been developed by George Mason University through their Center for History of New Media. I would strongly encourage you to check out their website and take a look at some of the other fabulous resources that they have for scholarship. While there's a standalone version of Zotero, the version that's most well developed is the version that's an extension for Firefox web browser. So that's the one we'll look at today. So you can go to the Firefox web browser at www.mozilla.com and download the free Firefox web browser, and it'll set itself up on your computer. As I said, once you're on the Mozilla Firefox site, this is the page that you'll see. You can click the green download box in the bottom left-hand corner, and it will download a file. Then you'll be asked to set up an exe file on your computer, which will install a Firefox browser on your computer. Once you have Firefox downloaded and set up on your computer, open the link to Firefox. That's a little orange sun, fox curled in a sun-shaped ball. It will be on your desktop. Open that web browser and use that web browser to search for Zotero. Once you get to the Zotero page, you will see the option to download. Click the download link, and it'll start downloading the Zotero application. It will save it on your computer, and it will install it in the Firefox web browser. At this point, you might as well register for an account with Zotero, which is going to give you the possibility of not only having Zotero installed on your own desktop version of Zotero, but it'll allow you to participate in the online Zotero, which means you'll be able to essentially store all of your resources in the cloud, which means if you go to another place where you don't have your own computer, as long as you can access Zotero from the website, you can get access to all your resources, which is very handy if you're going to a library and you decide you want to use the library's computers. As long as you can get to the Zotero website, you should be able to access log into your Zotero account and get access to all of your saved resources, which is an excellent feature. The other dimension of online Zotero is the groups function, which we'll look at a little later. So you have to register for Zotero to be able to participate in that. When you're on the Zotero page, as you're setting up your Zotero account, you should look around on the Zotero website and realize that there's many very useful and well developed how-to videos on just about every aspect of Zotero. Many of the ones that I'll go through today, they have even a better set of resources on their website. So you'll want to poke through those videos and you'll come across some new ideas, that some of them that we might not even get around to today in this presentation. You'll find them on the website. You'll also find a very supportive group of people, developers from Zotero, but also a very active community of people who use Zotero and contribute and participate in the various forums. So once you've set up Firefox and Zotero on your computer, to activate Zotero, you will look down on the bottom right-hand corner of your web browser, and you'll notice in red letters the word Zotero, or a big letter Z will be your icon that you can click. When you click that, it'll open up the quarter panel of Zotero, and that's on the bottom part of your screen, and you'll be able to get access to all of your Zotero features. You can increase the size of that panel by clicking on the icon in the middle of the top right there's three icons in the top right of that quarter panel. Click on the middle one and it'll expand the panel to full screen view. And you can also size that panel. Zotero also has the capacity to create various types of notes and annotations that are either connected to specific resources in your collection, or they can be standalone notes. So I'm going to go through a few of the features here and talk about them. And of course, if you want to add a note to a particular item in your collection, you'll see that functionality available on the top of the top right panel, where it says to add a note. You can also highlight a portion of the document that you're viewing and annotate that and create a note from there. Once you have opened up your Zotero application on your computer, and if you like increase the size to full screen view, you're going to now synchronize your desktop version of Zotero with the online version of Zotero. So you'll go over to the gear icon where I've indicated here that you select preferences, and that's the way to get access to all of your Zotero features is through that gear icon. In that particular, it'll open up a dialog box that you see here, and you're going to look for the Sync tab. And when you're in the Sync tab, this is the dialog box that you see. It asks you to supply your Zotero username and password, and then you should check off the Sync automatically checkbox, so that every time you add a new resource to your Zotero desktop, it will also synchronize with your online account, which means that when you go away from your computer and you log into Zotero someplace else, you still have access to all of your Zotero resources. In order to create entries in your Zotero application, most of the time when you go onto websites for journal articles, for example, as the one you see here, which is from a journal, the articles about personal learning environments. It's by Debug and Kitsanta. If you look up in the address bar, you'll see that there's what's called a metadata tag, and different resources have different looking icons, but in this case it looks like a folded over corner page. So if you click on that metadata tag, it tells Zotero, what Zotero has done is automatically scan this page already and determine that there's metadata, which means information about information that's available about this particular resource, and they've gathered that into the Zotero application. And you see that down in the bottom right-hand corner now. It's added all of that information. It's determined that it's a journal article. It's figured out what the title is. It's found the authors. It's found the abstract information. So whatever information has been provided in the metadata for that particular article has been gleaned by Zotero. And you should go through that and edit each one of those things. If you click on each one of those items in that bottom right-hand panel, you can edit those things and make sure that they're in the proper format for the citation style that you're using. And it's up, it does most things automatically, but it's up to you still to check and verify to make sure that that's correct. On the far left side at the bottom, you can see that this is your collections, so your libraries or collections, and you can create on the file folder, you can create new folders and call them what you like and organize them the way that you like. In the middle panel is the resources that you have in your Zotero collection, and you can just drag and drop them into the different folders that you create. They will always be in your main library, but you can sort them into individual folders, which also means that you can create specific reports and annotated bibliographies from various folders. So it's an easy way to sort and organize things. So that's creating a citation with the metadata tag. You'll also come across resources that you want to save in your Zotero account that don't have anything in the URL bar. There's no icon. So Zotero has looked at this resource and has determined that the author of the resource has not supplied any metadata information about the information. So in this case, you'll have to create your own entry. So you can see where the button is indicated here. Click that button to add material manually. And then you'll have to go through and, it allows you to still view the article above, but you'll have to actually hand enter all of the information about that particular resource. Reasonably easy to do. Again, you'll have to verify that everything is done according to the citation style that you're using. And as mentioned in the previous slide, you can create as many collections as you want. You can create collections for every project. For myself, I did it for every paper I write. I create a new collection or a presentation that I prepare where I need to aggregate a bunch of resources that are specific to a particular project. I create a new collection. And those are easily made. Just click the folder icon in the top left-hand side of the Zotero bar, and it asks you to enter a title. And all your resources will always be in your main Zotero library, but you can also create them in separate collections. So many possibilities, of course, with collections. If you have a particular class that you want to share resources with, you can create a collection and just share that collection with a group. So lots of different functionalities available there. So as mentioned in the previous slide, if you want to add a note to a particular resource, on the right side you see where the information tab is clicked for notes. It brings up this little dialog box where you can add a note. And that note then, as you see from the arrow here, will be added directly to the resource for that particular item that's in your collection. Also possible to create a standalone note, as you'll see from the other note on there, pointing to the icon for standalone notes. The great feature of Zotero is the ability to highlight and annotate items. When you're in your collection, if you look in your middle panel, select the resource and you'll see a plus sign. You'll open up the plus sign and you'll see a snapshot of this particular resource. When you're in the snapshot view, you'll see these tools pop up in the top left-hand corner of the Zotero panel, which allows you to create highlights that are persistent with the resource in your collection, and also annotations. So if you want to add an annotation to a particular part of the document, the electronic document, this will all be saved as part of your record of this particular entry in your Zotero account. Unfortunately, those highlights and annotations don't transfer to the shared version of Zotero. These are only in your own personal collection. But still, it's a useful possibility similar to the capacity that you'll find in other bibliographic tools such as Diigo or other Mendeley, other types of tools that allow you to mark up various documents. So I like standalone notes for a few different purposes. For one, if I'm using Zotero to coordinate for a class, for example, I can record a standalone note that essentially is the syllabus for the course and save it in a collection that's shared with a group of people. That standalone note can provide directions for what I expect for how people are going to use the resources that have been shared in the collection. It can direct them to further resources. I can include links in that standalone note that will direct them to other parts of the course. So there's quite a few ways that you can really imaginatively use standalone notes. The other thing I like to do with it is create recipes. So if I have a cooking recipe that I like, I create a standalone note and put it in my collection of recipes. So I always have access to my recipes quite simply. Snapshot functionality, as we saw earlier, is the way that you can annotate and highlight your own snapshot of this, but it also creates a possibility for you to click on a link in your collection and go directly back to the web page that you used to create the entry in the first place. So it's kind of a useful function that you'll have to set in your preferences. Again, going back to the gears icon, preferences, general, and then automatically take snapshot of current page. Very useful feature. Similarly, you can attach other documents to your resources in Zotero. Again, on the bottom right-hand corner panel of the specific information for that resource, you'll see an opportunity to create an attachment. The link that you see on this screen is to a custom screencast that describes the process of taking a bibliographic entry from your Zotero collection turning it into a citation that you can drop into a document anywhere and formatting it in the various